It's a higher education that's convenient and in our own backyard.
The Higher Ed Center, and we are the Southern Virginia Higher Ed Center, but the Higher Ed Center concept is a very innovative, non-traditional model of higher education. We don't confer degrees here. What we bring together educational partners who are all traditional institutions into an area where our folks would not necessarily have had access to education before. And so this is a real innovative take on education. We have 11 educational partners. We offer programs all the way from GED to PhD. We have 2-year, 4-year, graduate level high school partners.
So this would be called an incubator of sorts.
It absolutely is. In fact, that's one of the words that I like to use. We are an educational incubator. We provide the environment. We provide the facility, the technology, the affordability. We have scholarships available, and we provide the support services.
Well, I know that last time I was here, a lot of exciting things were going on then, as they are now, but I know there was an area that was under construction, which I think now has the nursing area in it. Can we go over there and take a look?
Absolutely.
Betty, this is really, really cool. This is the Nursing Simulation Lab, is that correct?
That's right. This is part of our Center for Nursing Excellence. It's not limited to nursing. We do some EMS training here, too. Yeah. But it's one of the few facilities of its type in the state. Yeah.
Will you introduce her for us? I know her. She's been on Living in the Heart of Virginia before.
This is Amy Lammerts. She is our Director of Program Development and Outreach, and she's been part of the center for almost since the beginning, for almost 20 years.
I mean, I walked into the room and I heard a baby crying, and I'm actually, because of the simulation lab. Emily, you could step on over here for me just a little bit and tell me about the baby here.
This is Sim Baby, and we have Sim Noel and Sim Man here. And this is, like Betty said, one of the first, one of the only simulation labs in this region, and one of the few in Virginia. But we were able to put this Center of Nursing Excellence in our facility this past year to be able to help kids and adults who are training in the nursing areas, anywhere from learning how to be a certified nursing aide all the way up to master's degree level programs. So we have lots of programs that students can participate, and certainly we want people to be able to practice on something similar to what a real person would be, and this is the closest thing we can get. These simulation units actually we'll take a nurse through a simulation process where they can actually, learn how to deal with certain issues that a newborn would have, a mother, and any kind of nursing condition that we throw at them. And we create these simulations and put these students through these processes with similar to, this is almost a real person here. If it turns blue, it's a neat way to be able to train students.
Amy, let me turn to Dr. Adams. We've got this beautiful center here that we're learning about nursing, but one of the things that people don't realize about the Southern Virginia Higher Education Center is you are not specifically a college like we talked about earlier. This is an incubator, so you have other colleges and universities holding their classes and their curriculum in this facility, correct? That
is correct, and we have classes that are offered Monday through Saturday. A lot of the courses are also online. Again, as I had mentioned, this gives our folks in the community access to these programs that would not otherwise have, because they couldn't afford to drive to a Longwood or to a DCC.
Something that just came to mind is who is offering the classes here in this center?
We have 11 educational partners, and so we have a cohort of 4-year universities inside Virginia as well as outside Virginia, and we have community colleges. Our two primary community college partners are Southside Virginia Community College and Danville Community College.
Well, if someone is interested in taking courses here, do they apply through the Higher Education Center or individually with each of the institutions in which you're kind of an incubator for?
They apply with the individual institution. And typically what will happen, we will get contacted through our email, our website, and they'll be directed to the appropriate educational partner or by our front desk staff who will point them in the right direction. And the whole east wing of this facility is devoted to offices where representatives from those institutions have office space and can counsel students.
Dr. Adams and Amy, I took a test the other day on Facebook, actually, and the test on Facebook identified me as being a computer geek. I love this room. You got your wall-to-wall Macs here.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's state of the art.
Amy, this being able to put this together as a resource for the individuals around South Boston who want to take these courses here, I mean, you're not going to find anything else like this in this area, are you?
No, actually, this Mac lab is probably one within. I mean, there's not a Mac lab like this within, I'd say, 100, 150 miles of our region. And we were able to put this together through some grant funds we received. Obviously, our state's in a bad situation now with funding, so we don't really get any state funding for anything we do, so we have to rely on getting grants, and we were able to put this whole program together with grant funds this year.
You know, actually, Dr. Adams, I want to talk about that for just a minute. Doing business locally doesn't mean just going down and shopping at our local grocery store, our local retailer. It also means doing business with our local colleges, institutions, professional services. So if someone is looking at a college or university to attend, first step, start looking at home?
Sure, absolutely. And, we have our staff, our folks here are very helpful, very supportive, and I think we give folks that extra TLC that they might not get at a home institution.
Amy, is there one of the instructors in here?
Oh, yes, Ben Capozzi. We were able to steal him away from Virginia Tech this past year, and he has managed to put together this entire program within 6 months for our students.
Digital arts, and I'm looking at these wonderful desktops that you got on these computers back here. What does that entail?
Digital art is everything about how we use the computers to communicate. Communication is sort of the overriding aim of the program because we want to give students, we want to help them develop a really broad ability to communicate across a variety of media. So that could be anything from podcasting, working with video, audio, certainly designed for print, trade magazines, anything like that. We're trying to cover it all to make them very digitally savvy in the emerging economy.
Does everybody here have a Facebook page? No, yes. Oh, you got to get on Facebook.
Surprisingly, a lot of
not a commercial for Facebook, but we'll find each other and be friends on Facebook. Let's go over, because I want to take a look at this one building. This actually is a building that goes back, I think, one of the original buildings to the 1950s. Is that right?
50s. Actually, this building is even older than that, but we have a newer section that we call the 50s section.
Dr. Adams, as we walk out here, these buildings, which I know probably had something to do with tobacco, agriculture, warehousing, or the like, it reminds me that in that culture, education really was not that important, but yet today you are working toward a culture of college and higher education?
That's exactly right, and that is really our major focus here at the Southern Virginia Higher Ed Center, is building that college-going culture among the workforce in Southside, which is the only way we're ever going to recover our economy. And these two new programs, the Product Design and Development Program, which is being established here at in the 50 section of our building, and the Digital Art and Design Program are focused on doing just that. They establish a 2+2+2 educational pathway that begins at the high school level, then to the community college level, and transfers on to a 4-year institution.
Amy, briefly, what will end up being in this building?
A lot of advanced manufacturing equipment, and over the course of a few years we've done a lot of study on what we think can help our economy here in Southside, and we think that advanced manufacturing is the way to go, and to be able to teach students how to work in those arenas with equipment. We're focusing on wood. Wood is the natural resource, since we're so rich in it here in Southside Virginia, and we started down the path of wood using advanced manufacturing to create some great things there.
I want to take you around to the front of the building so we can share with our viewers this beautiful area. Dr. Adams and Amy, one of the first things I noticed when coming on to the Southern Virginia Higher Education Center is this sculpture. And you know what it reminds me of is it's complicated, but yet it's simple. And people a lot of times approach higher education, oh, that's too complicated, I can't do that. Right. Maybe even if they're looking at the GED level and wanting to go on from there. But with what you do here, it really can be a simple process for them. It
absolutely can. And you're exactly right. People who have not had education as part of their family, culture, or history stop themselves by thinking that, this is not for me, I can't do this. And I wanted to say to everybody out there who has that feeling, you're wrong. You have all kinds of opportunities available to you through the Southern Virginia Higher Ed Center, and we're here to help you.
Amy, let me ask you briefly, you have been involved in the center for a couple of decades, I guess?
Well, 13 years.
Okay, 13 years. In that 13 years, what kind of changes have you seen in the lives of the students who have come through this?
one of the great things I always remember is that I've seen students come in that bring their moms and their children, and I've seen kids go to college that never thought they could go to college because their parents actually made the step and decided to go to college with them, and that's been a great thing to see.
Southern Virginia Higher Education Center in South Boston, 800-283-0098 and svhed.org.